Right. It is day 17 of Road to a Million. Today, very productive day, I would say. Made a couple of calls for the 9 to 5 job still, but I did, and this is the exciting part. I started to take the course on like essentially leads and what a lead is, more or less. So that was super exciting. Learned a lot from that. If I could share my screen with you guys while I was doing this, make it a whole lot easier. But essentially, like it's trying to figure out like what a lead magnet is, how to use a lead magnet, what and who like the actionable steps are. So I have some ideas for that. Like the who is like yoga studio owners, as I talked about. Lack of yogis. The question that I have and that I'm asking myself right now is, what can I give away for free that would be more valuable, if not as valuable, as the paid service? So that's the idea that I'm working with right now, and that's the thing that I'm going to be brainstorming a bit more tomorrow, because I have an idea as to what it can be. Because like from the course that I'm listening to from Alex Hormozy, he talks about how like when he did Gym Launch, essentially what he did was he did advertising for the business for free for the first 30 days. And I'm like, that's actually not a half bad idea. I could do something like that as well. I'd have to, from doing something like that, I was thinking then it would come down to, I guess, me creating like, I'm going to figure out how to phrase this. So essentially, I'd be selling to the yoga studios. And then from selling to the yoga studios, at that point in time, then I would start to be selling to the yogis as well. So I'd be essentially creating two offers. And then those are the things that I was going to be working on tomorrow, was possibly creating, not even possibly, but like creating one of those things and trying to figure out how I could get that to work, because that could be a very valuable offer. I think the offer that I have in place, like my goal is primarily to get 100 yogis into the studio within 14 to 30 days, essentially. I like to do it within 14 days. It might be for the first 30 days. So that's kind of the approach that I'm going to be taking right now, is do something along those lines where it's like, it's so good that I'm putting in more of my time, my effort, whatever it may be up front. It's going to increase that goodwill. It's going to increase the likelihood of them wanting to do business with me before. Because I believe the reason why I failed so much in the past was because a lot of the stuff, like the free value that I was giving out to people, like I did an ebook on how to lift. If I find it, I'll put it in here or something like that. But yeah, it was not like it was half-assed essentially. Like I didn't actually know who I was talking to. I didn't know the market. Like I didn't know the people that I was trying to help. And now I have like the clear vision of like, okay, I'm going to be helping yoga studios get new yogis into their studio. And if, say, we did have a shutdown again for some odd reason at that point in time, then I would create and solve that problem as well. Because essentially what the leads course that I'm taking right now is talking about is there's always going to be another problem. So there's one solution, then there's a problem, and then there's a solution, and then there's a problem. So it looks like that diagram right there where it's problem solutions, and it's circling around and around and around. And I didn't really get that. And the analogy that he gave through the presentation essentially was like, when you're single, you have single problems. When you have girlfriend, you have girlfriend problems. When you're married, you have married problems. And then like when you're in business, like you have business problems. When you are working, you have work problems. Like there's always going to be problems that you have to solve, and they're never going to be solved 100%. Like you can solve them to the best of your ability. It's just once you solve that problem, something new is going to arise. Something new is going to come, and I didn't always understand that, because I guess I just always assumed that certain things were just going to be as they are. And that's why, like, I've kind of, I guess, started realizing, come to the conclusion that it's like, I didn't necessarily know the things that I know until I did. And then that means that other people are the same. So it's like the things that I didn't know, think I didn't know this until I did. People, others, are the same way. So it's like most people have no idea about this. They've never heard about this. They've never read this book. Most people probably have never read this book as well. Dot-com Secrets, Russell Brunson. Like people that aren't in this world, in this industry, they don't understand funnels or click funnels or landing pages or driving ads or giving away free offers or doing these things that can grow businesses exponentially, because I've seen it firsthand. Obviously, that's why I'm going to be doing it for somebody else for lower cost, because then I can actually prove to the point that like, hey, these ideas do work that are in these books. And then it's like there's the whole getting more principle where it's all about framing. It's all about giving the person what they need most. And that's where the ad copy and that's where all this other, I guess, information comes in. And that's why like certain, say, like YouTube videos work. That's why Mr. Beast videos are so well, is because he quite literally, I don't know, says exactly what he needs to say within the first 5 seconds of the video, and he can repeat it word for word. Whereas like whenever I've done YouTube videos in the past, like I never had that like, boom, this is exactly what you're gonna get. I always try to be clever about it, and it's not about being clever. It's about being clear. It's about being concise. So that's why like when I'm gonna be naming these products, like test it out, and that was something else that I learned about as well too, is like you can A/B test titles, words, phrases, whatever it may be, to help you get to that next point, to help you get to that, like, realize that, okay, this name works and this name doesn't. A/B testing is probably the best thing. So that's why, like, today I was looking at essentially like softwares that I can use for my landing page. And I found a couple of them. I just don't know if they are the best ones, because like they're cheap. It was Card was one of them with 2 R's. It's super cheap. It was like $19 a month essentially. And I thought about doing something like that. It's just the landing page software and the little research that I did do, and I will do a little bit more research on this one as well too, is it was a process. It looked good. It looked simple. I just don't know if it has the capabilities that I need it to. Because essentially what I need my landing page to do for myself, and then what I can have it do for other businesses as well, is one, be able to have that title. And this is why ClickFunnels I think is more valuable, at least in this realm. I could use like the other one that I looked at was landing pages. It's just that's more like for a physical product, I believe, and selling it like within that funnel, where my plan is more to like have people book calls with me and then me actually see if they're a good fit. That's the direction that I want to go, at least for my first 5 clients. Once I have my first 5 clients and I have those testimonials and I have the proof, then I can pivot to having more of like a, hey, sign up and you can get this free visual thing or whatever it may be. So I'll take that different approach as well. But I was also looking at like some CRMs for calling essentially, because like a lot of the things that I'm going to be doing, I don't necessarily want to be using my like personal phone essentially. Like I'd rather have like a work phone, work computer. So it's like they can contact me on my phone and then I can give them my personal phone number as like a bonus or some sort, where it's like, hey, this is my work number. If you ever need me personally, like here's my personal cell. I have this on me all the time. Like you can reach me at any time if you ever have questions, and use that as a bonus, which I think would actually be a very good idea. And my method for being able to deliver my contact, my information essentially. So there's essentially 4 types of ways of delivering any sort of lead or solution to a prospect. And since so software, information services, and then physical products. Software and physical products are 2 of the things that I'm not going to be doing as of right now. Software I might introduce into my business a little bit later, because I seem to run into a lot of software engineers, and I'd like to be able to hire them to help me create essentially a software of some sort that helps automate our daily lives. And that's something that's going to come down a little bit later down the road. Still would be working on something like that. My main focus right now is being able to provide information to prospects in the best way that I possibly can. And my thought was like being able to do it digitally, so like via video, essentially like this, where I'm just talking, and then having this either transcribed by somebody else or putting this into something where I can transcribe it and just have this as like on the page as well, or send them over the document of like, hey, this is what I said in this video, and feel free to watch it or read it if you prefer. And then I could also just add on like hey, there's an additional just auditory file that you can use by clicking on this link and downloading it and being able to listen to this wherever you want to. So I have those ideas because like my main focus is being able to provide a service to the yoga studios, and the service that I'm providing is a sales service. It's a solution of sales, because that's just what I know. Like I understand how to sell. I was able to close basically $2 million, $1.976 million, I believe, in a single quarter. The most I was able to close was like 780,000, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. So it's like I have it's like past months. Let's go with quarterly goals. Yeah, so like the most that I've been able to close $717,000 in a single month. So if I've been able to close $717,000 in a single month, then all that means essentially is that I can use that as a selling tactic to be like, hey, I was able to close this much in a single month because I had the leads. So I'll get you guys the leads, and that can be like my free core offers. Like, okay, I will get you 100 to 200 leads within 30 days, or whatever it may be. And then from there, it's like, hey, if you still want to keep making money or you need help closing these deals, like, hey, I know you got all these leads, just want to see, like, do you need help closing them? Do you need help making sure that they are staying on board for a while? And then, like, give them all these other different, I guess, resources that they wouldn't have had originally, because a lot of the owners and I think people at yoga studios don't necessarily know how to sell, at least not from the yoga studios that I've gone to. They are never like, oh, hey, like, let's try getting you into this course, or like, let's try having you sign up for a month long of yoga, or let's have you try to get into a one-on-one personal training course, because it seems like this is something that you could benefit from, and trying to figure out what their needs are as a yogis would be incredibly beneficial. And I think a lot of people would actually find value in that. So I have that as like other bonuses that I can add on. And the nice part is being able to be like, yeah, I've made $720,901 in a single month. So if I was able to do that for somebody else, like, let me do that for you for free for the first month, and I'll just get you the leads, or I can just close the deals, or I can upsell, I can come to the shop and I can help you get more people on board. So that's like my main service that I'm going to be providing as sales service. It's going to be me selling on their behalf, so that I can then be like, okay, hey, let me teach you my system. Here's a whole bunch of like sales scripts that I've written up with questions to ask the prospects, and then where to lead the conversation to be able to close the deal essentially and get them on board so that you can increase your revenue. And then another thing that I was thinking about too is like having an affiliate program and using the other yogis within the studio itself, and being like, hey, if you bring in 5 friends each month or whatever it is, you get 1 free private class, or you get this entered in a raffle to win this brand new luxury yoga mat. Like, I have these ideas that I believe like yoga studios will find valuable. So essentially, like I said, my goal right now is just to have my first client by the end of September, and I want to do it right. I want to do it in the best way that I possibly can. I don't want to half-ass it. I don't want to like do what I've done in the past where I just haphazardly think short term of like, oh, let me just get this quick sum of money and then I'll dip, because like that hasn't worked. The things that do work is being patient, is being persistent, is providing actual real value. And that's why my main focus for tomorrow and essentially probably the next couple of days is finding and coming up and creating a quote unquote offer, lead magnet, that is so compelling that it is almost as valuable. No, not almost. It is as valuable, if not more valuable, than my actual core offer. Because essentially how I can do it is there's 3 different ways that I can deliver the lead magnet. Is I can reveal like a problem to the prospect that they might not have been aware of. Like, I could reveal to them, my thought was like, hey, you have all these yogis that are here for you that could be potentially bringing you in more yogis to help you with the studio. And then like, if you shut down, like, do you have any backup? Like, do you have any automation in place? Do you have any pre-recorded videos of training that people could say log in to your site and watch the videos from home, or have a virtual training set up at home that you could set up once or twice a week or whatever it may be to get people more on board, and then I can help you bring more people into there. And dude, like, there's so many different things and options and routes that I can take with this, which I think is fantastic. And I'm super excited because I haven't had something like this before in the past from other ideas that I've had, because I didn't have the sales experience. I didn't have the communication. Like, I just didn't have, I guess, the know-how that I have now. And now I have the confidence and I have the proven track record that I know that I can do this. So I could reveal a problem. I could also just sample and give them a free trial. And that's where I was talking about, like, doing paid advertising to get them 150 to 100 to 200 leads within the first month or whatever it may be. And then from there, it's like, hey, I know that you got all the leads. Maybe some people signed up, maybe some didn't. I'd like to make some money since you made some money in this process, was kind of the idea, because I'm like, let's just take what he used for gym launch and just pivot it and use it for yoga. Like, that's my focus, is like, let's just use what's already working or what did work in a different industry and bring it over to a new industry. Like, I just feel like that's the smart thing to do, because like I talked about it, and I think it was day 4 or 5 possibly, where I was talking about like, why rebuild a whole house? Like, the foundation's already there. Use the foundation. Use the pre-built like blueprints for what works, instead of creating something brand new and trying to be clever, because like that's never gotten me anywhere. The things that have gotten me places is when I actually do, like, I guess, copy, borrow, implement, like adjust, coordinate with other people's, and that's where like the Life Force 8 comes in, or like the Scrampers comes in as well. It's essentially using the same idea hundreds of thousands of other times, just in your own different personal way. So we have that, and then the other one was like a free step 1 of X. So it's like, if I have multiple steps in my processes, which this one I wasn't 100% sure how I could do this, other than like, hey, you get this and you have a guaranteed return. So I'm more focused on, I think, more like a sample / free trial of what I do. And then if they like it, cool. If not, like, I learned something and hopefully I'll get a testimonial out of it. If I do provide something that is more of a service-based compared to an informational-based thing for the free trial. And then, yeah, it's the naming it part is probably going to be the tough part for me. And that's why I'll probably do some ad testing to see which titles work best, because I think that's where a lot of my problems have come with videos in the past. Actually, I know that's where a lot of my problems have come. I just haven't been doing videos in the ways that I guess I've needed to, or like titling them in the correct way. My nose itches so bad, so I do apologize for that. I don't know why that is. But yeah, I have a good feeling about this, like I said. And then I guess the biggest takeaway is the more high quality leads, the more high quality sales that I can get from that specific person. That's why I need, and that's why I'm going to, that's why I will make this offer, the lead magnet, so compelling that it gets them into the program to be like, wow, Caleb provided me this much free value, didn't even ask me for anything. What can he do if I actually pay him?